yeah, Twitter's going to do whatever they can do to manipulate what they can financially to try and keep Musk out of there.
Well, the world's richest man has given America 43 billion reasons to have this very conversation. So let's go. I've got a great panel today. You're going to love this. Rich Valdes hosts This Is America on iHeartRadio. Great to see you, Rich. Newsmax contributor and host of the Jenna Ellis Show. Jenna Ellis is joining us as well, looking good. And writer with Post Millennial and host on Talk Radio 570 AM KVI Seattle is Ari Hoffman. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I want to get right to it, okay? So here's the deal. Elon Musk says he believes in Twitter's potential for free speech. Potential, which he calls a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. And that triggered a total meltdown. Take a look at these headlines. You know, Twitter's share prices jumped 27% after Musk's original offer. I think that's when he got like 9.2% of the company or whatever. The board, of course, rejected it, and they used that poison pill defense to limit his share of the company to 15%. So my question, Rich, for you is, isn't this quicksand for Twitter? They hose shareholders who would have made money from the sale while simultaneously admitting Twitter is not a free speech platform. Can they come out of this and win, do you think?
Not sure about the win, but it's evidence to me of exactly what we're talking about, how they're willing to do it when it benefits them and not when it doesn't. And it's interesting. I was thinking of saying something along the lines of what Ari mentioned and what Jenna mentioned, which was the other way around. I'm thinking when the WAPO was bought to allow speech from every angle, and what comes to mind for me is always I'm thinking Farrakhan or the mullahs. These guys are on Twitter. Trump's not. If we get Trump in, we have to allow those guys. And I think this is part of the problem that we have with some of the new social media that we have, where it's kind of one-sided or lopsided. So yeah, Twitter's going to do whatever they can do to manipulate what they can financially to try and keep Musk out of there. But it seems like he's going to get the money either way. After all, he's the richest guy in the world, and I think he's got a couple of resources.
Right. I agree with you, and I think you are the great foreshadowing of what's coming up in the next segment. Okay, panel, hang tight, because I'm going to come back to you here in just a flash. You know, the media Musk meltdown, if you will. Did one man just expose the truth about America's legacy news operations? You all at home get to decide. Coming up next on Common Sense. Welcome back to Common Sense, everybody. I'm Wendy Bell. Today we are talking about something big, free speech. Who determines what that is? Who decides which voices are allowed to be heard? What are the parameters? Should there be any? And who gets to police all of our voices? Should anybody? Billionaire Elon Musk has brought this conversation to a head with his offer to buy Twitter, a company with 217 million active users, now finds itself in this really uncomfortable conversation about how it defines freedom. I want to bring back our panel for you guys today. We have Rich Valdes, who hosts This Is America with Rich Valdes, iHeartRadio. Also, legal counsel to President Trump, Jenna Ellis, also a Newsmax contributor and hosts the Jenna Ellis Show on the Salem Radio Network. Ari Hoffman hosts the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 AM KVI in Seattle. Also writes for the great website Post Millennial. All right, guys, let's get back to it. You know, the left clings to this misinformation defense, if you will, that social media and the legacy media have to control the flow of information to ostensibly keep us all safe. That means controlled, right? MSNBC host Mika Brzezinski said something chilling about that regarding President Trump back in 2017. I know you guys remember this. Listen.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, I thought it was our job to give people things to think about so they could make the best decisions for themselves. I mean, call me crazy. Rich, I want you to jump in here as well. At a TED Talk, and you might have seen this, he was in Vancouver. Elon Musk said this about free speech being the backbone of a democracy. Listen.
Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square. It's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they're able to speak freely within the bounds of the law.
All right, so Rich, how can any company protect free speech while simultaneously regulating it? It feels like it's, butting heads there. What do you say?
Well, I think you're right. There's always a butting of heads, and most companies aren't in business to protect free speech. But Musk calls it out very interestingly, saying that Twitter is this new town square, which they've always fashioned themselves as, and it is. So I think this comes down to the question we had before about Section 230. But moreover, it's really important to say, are we going to do it or not? And on Thursday, he tweeted, you've got the right idea if you're ticking off the most fringe 10% on the left and the most fringe 10% on the right. I guess the 10% number is arbitrary, but whatever number you come up with, I think that's always going to be true. And you have to find this interrelation of where we can do these things. So I think Musk is spot on. And I think it's a little bit embarrassing that we have somebody, he's African, right? He's not born in America, who has a better understanding of the American system, at least it was intended to be, whether it's free speech in the form of one's right to worship or what they want to say or whatever they want to do electronically. And the way it boils down here, I think, is he's got the right idea. And I wish him Godspeed with this, because we need people that are going to have the right intentions, that are going to be in those types of positions. So Godspeed to Musk.
Amen. Amen. Jenna, Musk said the most important thing last week. He called it proof that we live in a democracy. Listen to this.
And a good sign as to whether there is free speech is someone you don't like allowed to say something you don't like. And if that is the case, then we have free speech.
I've got 15 seconds, Rich. I want to give it to you. Have you been censored?
Oh, lamentably, yes. It happens. It happens quite often. I'm from New Jersey, so that happens a lot. And when you go into New York, it happens again. The censorship is always going to be there. I think when you live in the belly of the beast, there's sometimes reins on you that are tighter than other places, and that's just a sad truth.
Right on.
Hopefully that stops soon.
I think we've all been in that boat, and that's what's coming up next, guys. Ari, Rich, Jenna, thank you so very much for your time. Love having you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.